Alright, y'all. Let's talk about College Football 26. I've almost put 400 hours into this game already. Like most of you, I've seen the highs and lows. This video is going to be simple. Things I like, things I don't like, and I'm also going to go over the things that were problems at launch that they've patched. Honestly, the launch version of the game felt like we paid $70 to be beta testers. Let's get into it. The problems at launch that they have patched in the last couple months. Zone run blocking. It was flat out broken. Didn't matter if you had 99 overalls on the line. Nobody's gonna pick a block up correctly. Nobody's gonna get to the second level. Online tier matchmaking didn't matter. Even though I'm from New York, I'm a UTSA guy. So I'd pick a tier 4 team, looking for the fair matchup. You know, you select your preferred tier, and I'm still facing LSU, Texas, or Oregon. The drop catch glitch, where when you get hit from behind, pause, and they automatically drop it, like flail their arms back. It just happened way too often. When you couldn't hike the ball multiple times a game, that was literally game breaking. Opening day and opening weekend. There were useless archetypes in Dynasty, like you couldn't upgrade raw strength to way too many points. Key skills you actually needed. The Penn State Wildcat play, as someone that played online until the last roster update, pretty much strictly, it was just unstoppable. It was ridiculous to play online, and once again, that goes hand in hand with not being able to pick your tier, so I could just avoid them. And there were other broken plays like the West Virginia jet touch pass that if you have a left-handed quarterback, it's an automatic fumble 6. Their two top quarterbacks are left-handed quarterbacks. Now, give EA the credit. They did patch a lot of these things, or all these things, but the fact they were in the game at launch makes me question who's testing this stuff. I've said it before, EA, I will literally test this game for free. And they weren't hidden problems, these were obvious from the first few times that we played. So the current dislikes and issues that I have, Dynasty deal breaker implementation is still terrible. I have a couple separate videos on that. Defense goes into prevent way too early, letting you run right into scoring range with under a minute left in the half or game. If you remember last year, they would play press coverage way too late. Now they go prevent way too early. Stadium atmosphere upgrades in Dynasty seem off, like way too slowly. Like in my Missouri State rebuild, I've seen it take years to go from 5 to an F to a D, even if you're in the playoffs. Computer never gets flagged for intentional grounding. They can throw it away instantly in the pocket. Flag won't happen. I haven't tested this since the beginning, but the mass subs bug where red shirt players still get subbed in, even though they should be off the depth chart. Auto recruiting isn't viable at all. And even if you do choose it, you can't set archetypes like you could in the PS3 era game. So if you're running a army, for example, and you want pure runners, you can't set that archetype like you could in the past games. Coach prestige problems, I went over that in the deal breaker videos. Coach creation is lazy, right? So I'm a black guy, so to have a coach with the visor, I have to choose either being an old man or I have to have braids because hats are tied to faces instead of being standalone items. And even then, in your coach skills screen, the hat shows up as gray instead of matching your school, which is lazy. Onside kicks, which bothers me most on online, your players just don't go for the ball. So if you know you're in the Heisman tier, people try to cheat and kick it where your player won't go for it. And then nothing is explained, right? So from icons on player cards to even last year when they came out with the pipeline tiers to pipelines having effects on what jobs you can or can't get. If it wasn't for the Reddit community, I would have no idea what's going on. The average person would have no idea what's going on. So they have to come out with a blog explaining all the symbols and additions and little Easter eggs and things in this game. And then, of course, the announcing, the narration, it's just off sometimes. I noticed that they've tried to add some stuff. They've added more contextual lines and scripts, but sometimes it's just off or they'll say the same thing multiple times in a drive. So those are my dislikes as of now. Things I like. The music and bands are amazing. Whoever's idea that was, bravo, you deserve a raise. Like for real, like I find myself humming some of these songs I've never heard before. Awesome. At least for the user, QB accuracy, only elite QBs are consistently sharp. Everyone else misses throws. And I like that. That's as it should be. Like I don't want it to be just so easy. Like receivers jumping for the ball instead of auto picks. I appreciate that. Route running improvements. Wide receivers step in front of defenders now, so more of the route tree is viable to me. ISO and dive blocking did work well from the beginning. It was zone blocking that was broken. Recruiting is harder at small schools, which feels realistic. I appreciate that. Like pipelines really matter. I do enjoy the transfer portal chaos part of me, even though the deal breakers need work. The Dynasty quality of life upgrades like cheaper local visits, add player screens showing your needs, being able to auto progress during the season but then manually progress in the off season, dev traits that upgrade when players overperform. I enjoy the customization, more settings, ability to lower the wear and tear to 30, right? So your players can actually make it through a season. Screen passes actually work now. Pardon me. Screen passes actually work now. They might have tweaked the jet touch pass too far to the side, but I'm not mad at it. I appreciate the amount of drops on both sides of the ball. Like if you actually watch football, even week 1, right? Ryan Williams, Ryan Smith, the cover athletes, both dropped multiple passes, multiple times. Open field tackling feels way better than college football 25. It's possible. No huddle is a viable option now because we have access to our playbook, not just forced set audibles. And I actually don't mind road to glory scenarios, but I'll be making a separate video on that. So yeah, those are my likes. It's not all bad. They definitely made a ton of improvements and I appreciate it. So yeah, that's where I'm at with CFB 26. The game has definitely improved from last year and definitely improved since launch, even though I think the launch was rough. Like 2 months in, it's already kind of unrecognizable. A lot of the gripes have been patched, which I appreciate. And it's just funny because if you're on these online communities such as Reddit, right? People will say, oh, it's a skill issue, like you're the problem. But if EA patches it later, it's acknowledging that we aren't crazy, that we aren't bugging. So I'll keep on playing. I'll keep giving you updates of things I like and dislike, but they 100% need to test better, continue listening to us. So we'll go from there. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. What do you love about this game? What do you hate about this game? And what's one thing you would fix in CFB 26? Leave it below.